Hello and welcome back to my educational series on human design, trying to not gatekeep this information, put it behind a paywall, but serve the collective by putting it out there because it's not only made a huge difference in my life understanding the system of differentiation, but also those of the people around me and the various clients that I've served. And I've just been getting called to serve in a more public forum. So here we are on YouTube. So thank you for tuning in. Today I am sharing with you the analogy that I use to understand the 4 energy types in the human design system. So first and foremost, human design is quite complicated. There's a lot to it. There's many, many layers, and it can definitely be easy to get into like analysis paralysis or information overload and not integrating it. So if you're brand new to human design, I suggest you first pay attention to your energy type and its specific strategy and put that into effect first. And by doing that, it's going to create more ease in your experience. And then that ease is going to create a more ideal atmosphere for your brain to be able to comprehend the rest of it. Okay, so let's go with this analogy. So I like to use an analogy of the flashlight to understand how the 4 energy types work together in this human design system. Okay, so the very first category of this analogy and of the energy types is the switch. Okay, in a flashlight, you've got something that initiates, something that turns the flashlight on. And as far as the energy types, this corresponds to the group that is known as the manifestors. Okay, so around 9 or 10% of the population are this energy type, and I'm going to create a more specific series on each of these as well. So if you want to know more about each of these energy types, just check out my channel for the rest of the videos that I'm going to create on this. So the manifestors, their strategy is to inform. Okay, so if you think about a flashlight, like in order for it to turn on, like for the batteries to get the clue that they're supposed to be doing something, the switch needs to make a sound or like have an action, right? And so as a manifestor, you need to inform the collective that you are initiating your divine insight. Okay, so manifestors are those of us who are the kings, the queens, the leaders, those of us who get that divine insight and are inspired to take action. They're very powerful. They've got a really strong aura. They can be very triggering. Often manifestors are like a love them or hate them kind of energy. People are triggered by them because they have such force. And as a collective, we've all been taught to be manifestors, really, that we're like go-getters, like we get an idea and go for it, right? But only 9 or 10% of the population is meant to do this, okay? So, but if they don't inform the collective, they end up feeling angry, okay? That is the not self theme of the manifestor collective, okay? So moving on with this analogy, the next part of the flashlight is the batteries, okay? And so there's generally 2 batteries in a flashlight, and the energy type that I'm referring to in this section of the analogy are known as the generators. So there's 2 subclasses of generators: standard generators and manifesting generators. Okay, so manifesting generators are a little bit of a hybrid. They do have a titch of that manifesting energy, the initiating energy. However, it's more of a throwing noodles to the wall and see what sticks kind of energy. So as a manifesting generator, you're going to have a lot of different interests, a lot of different ideas, and you're going to need to learn to listen to your internal authority, which I'll make another video on that too, don't worry. In order to decide what to pursue, and then allow yourself to change your mind or, let go of commitments or things that you initiated that just didn't pan out. Okay, so manifesting generators tend to be more polymathic and have a lot of different interests, whereas a generator is more of like one kind of interest and more internally focused. Both of the manifesting generators and the generators, as the battery of the flashlight analogy, are here to power the collective. Okay, and I'm saying we because I'm a manifesting generator, we're very powerful beings in that we create energy. Okay, so when you look at your energy centers in your human design chart, you'll often have a lot of definition, especially in the motor centers or those centers that create movement, okay, doing kind of energy. So 66-ish% of the population are split between these 2 categories, a little bit more to the manifesting generator side of things. And the strategy for the generator is to know thyself and to satisfy thyself. So, and to respond to what comes. Okay. So we're meant to be internally focused first and foremost. We're not really meant to initiate, other than that little bit of initiating energy that I described with the manifesting generators. But in general, we're meant to respond to our environment. That's the strategy, respond. And that you'll know that you're responding by being satisfied. If you're feeling frustrated, that means that you're in your not self energy, okay? And so our role is to know thyself, satisfy thyself, respond to what comes to the environment, act on that. And then by satisfying ourselves, we radiate satisfied energy into the collective and power the flashlight. For the next category, so about 20-ish% of the population are non-energetic types known as projectors, or in this analogy, they are the bulb as far as the flashlight, okay? So by non-energy type, it means that they don't create their own energy. They don't have definition in a lot of those motor centers, although that's not true. There is a subclass of projectors that are energy projectors, but in general, most projectors are very sensitive. They have a lot of open definition or undefined centers in their chart, and they are dependent on the people around them to fuel themselves, okay? So the projector siphons energy off of the generators and focuses it like the bulb, okay? So like whatever they look at, they see right to the core of, okay? And the strategy though for them is to wait for invitation. So if you think about a flashlight, like if you shine that light in a dark corner, you might see something that you don't want to see, right? Like you got to be invited to look at, because their insight is so clear and right to the core of whatever they're looking at, that if it's not asked for, it's generally not very well received, okay? Now, this doesn't mean that you have to wait for an external invitation. By learning your internal decision-making authority and learning how to tune into that, you can use your intuition as an invitation to provide insight. And the projectors, or the bulb here, will know that they're on track when they're feeling successful. If they're feeling bitter, it means that they are not acting in alignment with their strategy. And finally, the fourth energy type in the human design system, and with this flashlight analogy, is the mirror, or the energy type known as the reflector, okay? Only 1% of the population are reflectors. They're very rare. They have no definition in their chart. They have no internal decision-making authority. They have to use the moon. They're different people every single day of the week, because they literally absorb whatever environment and energies that they're in, and they magnify it. Okay, so in order to make decisions, and their general strategy in life is to track the lunar cycles and how they feel, and wait a lunar cycle. Or if they've spent time developing like a chart that tells them how they feel based on different phases of the moon, they can make decisions more easily. But that's the general strategy of the reflector. They're just meant to go around and kind of sample different groups and magnify the energies of whatever group they're in, okay? So that concludes my analogy, educational component of the energy systems in human design. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a little follow there, and stay tuned for the rest of the series that I'm going to be creating over the next little bit.